Welcome back, your Daily Dose, Wednesday, March 15, 2017, and it's time for Earthview. It's time for Earthview, for which I always have in studio Daniel Roth. He's with us not just to deliver, the daily dose of everything and anything environmental, but he's also here to answer. Daniel, hello. Yes.
Thank you.
I just want you to look behind me because it looks like God is angry.
Yeah,
it does. Doesn't it look like God might be
angry?
slightly ticked off?
It's gray.
Okay.
There's rumbling.
There's a rumbling.
Maybe
it's coming
hungry,
our way.
but it's probably angry.
Okay.
It's
So before the end of the world as we know it, how bad is it going for the environment?
Well, more about the end of the world, let's say.
Yes.
So we start, as I have been doing recently in the United States,
yes,
with the Standing Rock story, the ongoing Standing Rock story.
Right.
Now, so last month, the protesters, thousands of protesters who had been there, it's almost going to be a year, April marks a year, that most of them were kicked out. There are a few holdouts still, but most of them were kicked out. There was a march.
And the Trump administration basically okayed.
They okayed it. They're pushing forward Keystone, the Dakota Access Pipeline. This, though, is a group, thousands of Native Americans descended on Washington, marched to say basically that this is against treaties. It's against their rightful sovereignty over this land, and it's going to ruin the water for not just them, but for everybody in Dakota.
Let's have a listen.
As Native people, we've continued to have our resources extracted. They're in the process of doing that now with this pipeline, to the detriment, or the possible detriment, or the very real detriment of loss of clean water. And then what? Nothing's going to survive without water. Nothing.
Although it may not seem it to some people, it's a big threat. It's a very big threat. Oil and water is not good. You can't drink oil.
To have Tunkashio, or the grandfathers, rain on us means that they're here with us. And so this isn't inclement weather, it's a blessing.
Am I fair in saying, Daniel, that most likely, let's be honest, their cause is not going to be reciprocated by this current administration?
It seems that under the Trump administration, it's not going to be reciprocated. It looks like it's a lost cause right now, but covering these kinds of protests, the continuation of these kinds of protests themselves, and putting them in media like this, talking about them, may give them a fighting chance.
May make people remember them.
Yes,
that's
absolutely.
One thing. Yes, so what's
and
next?
Actually staying sort of with the Trump administration, Michael Bloomberg, former New York City mayor and
owner of Bloomberg.
Media, was in Paris as part of his responsibilities with the UN. He was there to reassure Francois Hollande and the Europeans in general that the U.S. is not going to back out of the Paris Climate Treaty.
How does he know?
He doesn't know. That's the thing.
Because I think the current administration is very much looking to get out of that agreement.
Well, so that's the thing. There are arguments in the White House right now. It looks like it's teetering on the edge for sure. But here's Michael Bloomberg. He's saying, I don't think the Trump administration
wants
is
to
going
do
to
this.
get
Let's
out.
have a listen to Bloomberg.
We are basically 60% of the ways towards them already, and it's been done by the private sector, helping close coal-fired power plants, corporations looking at their environmental footprint and trying to improve it, more disclosure about the environmental footprint of companies in America, and the average citizen in America understanding that climate change is real. My hope is that the new President of the United States, once he gets into office for a period of time, will come to understand that he could also be a leader, as President Hollande is, in terms of helping us prepare for our future.
He's actually suggesting or recommending to President Trump to do certain things.
Right. He's
But
prodding him.
with all due respect, it's great for the cause, but I don't think the average American believes, that climate change is real. I think that's one of the main points.
It sounds like maybe it's a hopeful statement. If you replace American with scientists, then definitely the vast majority.
Would be yes, but I think they voted that no. Yes, moving along.
Moving on, staying in America. we have something you may wonder why spring break is being brought up in this segment.
Yes.
Spring break, which most people think of drinking and fun.
I just wanted to say drinking and falling into water while drunk or throwing up while drunk. Yes.
Yes,
Okay.
but it leaves this massive mess. I spoke to a few Floridians about this, and first of all, let's just take a look at what spring break is for viewers who don't
Yes,
quite
please.
know.
Yeah, but for those of you who don't remember.
It's that time of year again that brings thousands of students and visitors to Miami Beach. Spring break, and by Friday, this party was already going.
It's part of the young life. You have to live your life. When they were younger, they lived it.
Living the spring break life can get pretty loud, according to many who live and also visit here.
Why would I subject myself to this? It's supposed to be a holiday, not torture. And it's torture to me when I don't sleep.
John Paracciati, visiting from Los Angeles, says his hotel room in the thick of the action is so loud at all hours he hasn't slept in days. The owner of the Sherbrooke Hotel took this cell phone video of some scuffles in a crowd Wednesday night. Officers had to take several people into custody at 9th and Ocean as crews temporarily cleared the beach for cleaning.
As with any large crowd, you're always going to have a handful of people who are going to make poor choices, and in that instance, about 5 people were arrested.
We saw police going around confiscating alcohol. During this 8-week spring break period, beachgoers are banned from bringing coolers and glass and containers on the sand.
I'm finding broken pieces of glass in the sand. It's a major hazard to people. We just want people to behave in a respectful way that's not going to harm other people.
And, well, Daniel, I think one of the main takeaways from this is, and the one thing it reminded me of is I saw a picture this morning, which sadly we can't show. I saw a picture this morning on social media of beaches actually in Europe with a mess of, because spring break is becoming a thing there too, of plastic. And it's plastic. Isn't that the problem?
It's plastic because it doesn't go away. It basically never, ever goes away. And it floats, there's been reports of this island the size of Texas in the Pacific that is just made of our plastic garbage. And a lot of the garbage that gets left on the beaches in these kinds of party environments, 8 weeks of spring break is what they said in that report. You can imagine how much garbage is being left on the beach and washed away in the tide.
And washed away into the oceans yet again of plastic. And I don't know how to drive the point home, but that kills almost everything in the sea afterwards.
Yes,
okay, it just
that's
kills
what's happening.
it. Okay, Daniel, thank you for that uplifting report. And but when we get back, we're going to look at weather, environmentally, but at weather in the states where they're really, really, really snowed in. Don't go anywhere.